That's what's going on. It's just changing. We're going to be in the Course in Miracles, the Judgment of the Holy Spirit, on page 217. If you got the book, that whenever you hear the word Holy Spirit, it's just talking about the judgment of the loving right mind. The judgment of the part of you that is absolutely cool. The judgment of the part of you that's totally perfect. The judgment of the part of you that knows the truth. That's what the Holy Spirit is. The Holy Spirit is that part of you that is love. Isn't that cool to know there's a part of us that hangs out there? Okay. I'm going to read through the paragraph and then I'm going to tell you what the paragraph said.
Are you on 215 or 217?
On 217, excuse me. Thank you.
What paragraph?
We're on at the very top of the page.
Okay.
Paragraph 8. The Course in Miracles says the Holy Spirit's interpretation of the reactions of others are that everything that's going on is either love or a call for love. That's the only thing that's happening is either love or a call for love. No matter what it looks like, no matter what the person's saying, no matter what the person is doing, no matter what the situation is, no matter what's happening, it is a call for love. So by applying the Holy Spirit's interpretation of the reactions of others more and more consistently, you will gain an increasing awareness that the Holy Spirit's criteria are equally applicable to you. So if everybody else is going off as a call for love, then you're going off, and when you go insane and when you act crazy and not being as loving as you think you should be, then it's also a call for love. Okay? Then it says that to recognize fear is not enough to escape from fear. So recognizing fear is not enough to escape from fear, although the recognition of fear is necessary to demonstrate the need for fear. Before I can move beyond my fear, I need to recognize I'm afraid. So the Course then says, the Holy Spirit, which is your loving right mind, must still translate the fear into truth. So I need to go from my fear to the truth. If you were left with the fear, once you had recognized the fear, you would have taken a step away from love, not towards love. So what good is it to bring up my fear if I'm going to be left with it? What good is it for me to get deep down inside of myself and bring my stuff up if I'm just going to be left with it? Then it goes on to say, we have repeatedly emphasized the need to recognize fear and face it without disguise as a crucial step in the undoing of the ego. So a crucial step in undoing any form of fear is to recognize it and face it without disguise. So the best way in the world to deal with any upset is to feel it, recognize it, don't repress it, and don't cover it up with I'm trying to be positive. Right with me on that one. The Course says, I say it again, recognize the fear means face it without disguise. So whatever it is that's bothering you in your life right now, don't pretend you don't feel it. Don't pretend you don't feel it. Now we know that according to the Course, the only rule is we don't have to believe it, we don't have to accept it, we don't have to welcome it. Some of it's going to be hard to believe, some of it's going to be quite startling, but if we use it, we'll recognize that it's true. So it's very important to realize that because I'm sharing with you what the Course in Miracles is saying, does not mean that I think you got to necessarily agree with it or believe it or go along with it. I feel that you wouldn't be here if you didn't want to hear what I was saying through the Course in Miracles. So I'm just going to say what the Course in Miracles is saying, but I'm not going to defend it. Okay? I don't care anymore about whether or not anybody else believes what I believe. It's just important to me for me to start living the truth that I say I believe. And I realize that every time I make somebody else's agreement necessary for me to practice what I know to be the truth for myself, I'm just slowing myself down. So if you really want to move fast, stop being concerned about anybody else agreeing with your point of view. That'll be the quick way. Just a little tip. You know, if you're sure that what you're trying to do is right in your own heart, if it feels right for you in your own heart, it would be best actually if you just went ahead and did it and didn't tell anybody. Would be my suggestion. Because everybody's got their own curriculum, so if your curriculum is different from their curriculum, they're going to be tempted to try to tell you the way that you want to do it is wrong. And talk you out of the very thing that you might feel inspired to do. Everybody with me so far?
Yep, there comes
Okay. Okay. Then the next line says, consider how well the Holy Spirit's interpretation of the motivations of others will serve you then. Who can tell me what the Holy Spirit's interpretation of the motivation of others is? It's either love or call for love. Yeah, that's my motivation. I'm either loving you or I'm calling for your love. I'm either loving you or I'm calling for your love. I'm either loving you or I'm calling for your love. I'm either loving you or I'm calling for help. Why wouldn't I want to see that as what the people around me are doing? The reason why I wouldn't want to see that is that my desire to attack you is greater than my desire to love you. You've done something that's upset me, and I'd much rather attack you for that than see that as you're calling for help. That is the only reason why I won't use that interpretation. Everybody clear about that? Okay, it's like we were given a new interpretation, and the only reason why I wouldn't want to use it is that there's a way that I'd rather respond that has nothing to do with that, which means I want to attack you, I'm angry at you, I'm upset with you. I don't want to see what you just did as call for love. I really want to go off on you and what you did. Right? But I don't realize that the universe reflects back to me everything that I'm giving. So the same attitude I'm having toward everybody else is the same attitude my universe is going to have toward me. So if I don't want to see anybody else's calls for love as a call for love, when I need it, nobody will seem to be there for me. And I'll be going, why is it that I'm upset and nobody's really seeing what I'm doing as a call for love? When was the last time you saw what somebody else was doing as a call for love? And the Course says even deeper than that, that is my desire to refuse help for me. Because if I give it to you, it's going to come to me. So my willingness to not give it to you is really a reflection of me not thinking I deserve to have it. So I'm actually refusing help for myself. Deep. That's straight up though. That's straight up. That's what I love about this. So having taught you to accept only loving thoughts in others and to regard everything else as an appeal for help, your loving right mind has taught you that fear itself is an appeal for help. So just by my being afraid, I'm calling for help. Just by being afraid, I'm calling for help. So wherever you feel afraid, you're saying, help me, help me, help me, help me, help me. So you know where the area of your life that you're asking for help the most in right now. It's the area of life that you're feeling the least amount of peace in. That's where you're calling for love. Everybody got their area.
Yeah.
Whether it's financial, whether it's spiritual, whether it's in your relationships, whether it's in your career, whether it's in your health. That pretty much covers the spectrum, right? Spirituality, career, health, relationships, money. That's pretty much the areas that people usually be concerned about. So the Course then says, this is what recognizing fear really means. What does recognizing fear really means? It means I finally recognize fear as a call for help. I don't recognize fear until I recognize what fear really is. And what fear really is help me God, help me God, help me universe, help me, help me, help me. That's what I'm saying. I got a lot of fear in this relationship. I'm calling for a lot of help in this relationship. I got a lot of fear around finances. I'm really calling for a lot of help around finances. I got a lot of fear around my job. Then I'm calling for help around my job issues. Whenever I'm feeling fear, it's just I'm feeling a call for help. Course in Miracles is not complicated. The Course in Miracles is very different, and it uses very simple concepts. Do you know that when they get ready to demolish a building, how many of you all have seen those videos where all of a sudden they explode the charges and the building just drops right down in about 10 seconds and the whole building is done? They don't put a charge under every brick in the building. They put the charge under the strategic places in the building that they need to collapse for the whole building to fall. Okay, well, everything that you're using to keep you unhappy has some strategic core beliefs that you're using that need to be dynamited.
Yes, they do.
And the Course in Miracles is the demolition charge that destroys the foundation of your fears, that allows them to collapse.
Wow.
Okay, the core fear, if you want to save a lot of time, the core fear that you want to get rid of is the fear or the thought of I am separate from God. I am separate from my source. I'm separate from that which created me. That's the core. That's like if you want to just put that charge in the right place, that'll collapse every area that you think you're having a problem in. But that's usually the last place.
That's too easy.
I know it. That's way too fast. And that's usually the last place that the average person goes to answer any problem that they have. They usually go to their own mind to try to figure out intellectually what they need to do to solve the problem. They don't usually go, the problem is I'm not connected to my source. The problem is I'm not connected to my source and my perception. Every problem is an identity problem. Every problem is a God problem. You have to understand we are unlimited, infinite spiritual beings, giving ourselves a physical experience of separation so that we can see what it feels like to be the opposite of what we are.
Wow.
And then we have the fun of rediscovering who we really are, and then having these incredible miracles and incredible experiences that start to come to us as we begin to remember we are these infinite beings. Mm-hmm. And as infinite beings, every single solitary thing that happens to you is being created by your own consciousness. Yeah. So there's nothing that's happening to you in your life right now that you're not attracting to you based on the way you think, feel, and believe, period. Mm-hmm. And if you tell yourself that anything that's happening to you is being caused by anything else, then you're still in the stage of still trying to forget who you really are. Hello? What I'm doing is I'm just sharing the truth. What I realize is I can share the truth of what the Course says, and then you can accept it at whatever level of time and space you want to. So for some people that might be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, never. But that doesn't mean that what's being said isn't true. That's right. So you can share something with somebody, but you might not want to hang around with them until they believe it. Unless you got just a whole lot of time to hang out. Because how long it takes for a person to be willing to change their mind in order to see things differently, in order to be happy, is in direct proportion to their tolerance for pain. Oh. Some people have more tolerance for pain than other people, so they take a lot more crap before they go, there must be a better way, I'd rather be happy than be right, I'm going to get sincere about doing this, and I'm going to stop messing around. And you know what? Everything that they're creating while they're miserable is still an example of the expression of their infinite power, and so that's still cool. Some of us can create elaborate messes that are so incredible that you just have to just take your breath away. It's so good. Some of y'all got such good drama right now. Steven Spielberg would love to have your script. He would love to can I just take your script for a minute and make it into a movie? You know what I'm saying? Because it's nothing else happening in my life. My job is boring. I don't know what I want to do, but I can just have drama. I just have a life full of drama. Then it won't be boring because I got my financial problem, I got my health problem, I got my relationship problem, my job, you know what I'm saying? And, my dog got ran over by a car yesterday. It's like we got all kinds of drama that we will use to entertain ourselves until we get ready to be happy. I tell you. Oh, let me see what else is saying right here. He says, this is what recognizing fear really means. What does recognizing fear really means? Who can tell me? But what I just said, it's a call for help. I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over and over and over, because the only reason why a person tries to figure out an answer is they haven't become willing to accept the answer that's given to them. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Here's the answer. Now you just decide whether you want to use it or not. So I would like to make it complex, but I really don't want to make it complex. I like simplicity. So, that argument I had with that person yesterday, when they looked like they were attacking me about something and I felt like an innocent victim of what they were doing, that person was calling for love, that person was calling for help. What does that mean? Does that mean I try to answer that call for help? Well, if your inner guidance tells you to, then you go ahead and do something. But in most cases, the only thing you're being asked to do is reinterpret it as a call for help. Mm-hmm. That's all you're being asked to do. It doesn't even mean you have to do it and you're happy to do it. You can begrudgingly say it's a call for help. You can hate the person and go, I hate your butt, but it's a call for help. Doggone it, bastard. It's a call for help, dog. If you can just do that much, it would be amazing. Because you know what? You're creating a reality where when you're afraid and you're upset and you're going off and you're being insane, you'll be surrounded by people like I'm surrounded by people that go, oh, that's a call for help, Earl. That's just your call for help. That's the kind of people that surround me in my personal life. When there was a time in my personal life that if I lost my temper and went off, I would be attacked back by the people around me and also told I was guilty. And they would also remind me of the other times I did it. Anybody? Hey, y'all hear me? Are you with me?
Totally.
Yeah. So now I'm in a world that when I'm going off and acting crazy, I'm surrounded by people that go, oh, that's Earl just has a deep, deep call for help right now. What's going on, brother? What can I do to help you see things differently? See, I remember a time when that would have sounded like a miracle to me. But it didn't start happening until I started begrudgingly actually doing what I was being told to do, which meant I started to see what other people around me was doing as a call for help. And I started out with the people that I was not in a special relationship with because I didn't have as much attachment to what they were doing. And then I worked it down to the people who were most special to me because those were always the ones that was the hardest to forgive. So I never start out with the hardest person or the hardest situation. I start out with the easiest situation and the easiest person and work up to the ones that I have the biggest grievances with. The ego will tell you to start out with the person that is the hardest to forgive and then start with them first, which is a great way to set yourself up to not succeed. So don't start with the person you're most upset with to practice this on. Start with the person that you're least upset with to practice this on, and work up to the ones that's your daddy or your mama or the person that you were married to. Don't start with the hardest person. Start with the easiest person. Just a little tip. I'm just giving you 30-year tips. Okay. Let me finish the paragraph, and then I'm going to throw it over. So hold on to your question. Don't forget it. If it's a real question, you won't forget it. If it's a false question, you'll forget it. Okay? All right. That's deep, isn't it? If it's a real question, you won't forget it. If it's a question that was just to use to interrupt what was being said, you'll forget it. Because the ego was feeling threatened by something it was hearing. And so it needed to stop that train of thought so that I wouldn't, in other words, it was a very spiritual way of saying, shut the hell up, Earl. So, and everything I'm saying from the Course, so don't take it personal. You know, the Course says that that's what we do. Then it goes on to say, that's what recognizing fear really means. It's just a call for help. If you do not protect it, the Holy Spirit of God in you will reinterpret it. That's the ultimate value in learning to perceive what attack as a call for love. We've already learned that fear and attack are inevitably associated. So if attack produces fear, so if you are afraid, there's something in you that feels like you've been attacked. So whenever you feel afraid, according to the Course, that's where we believe we've been attacked. So some of us are attacking ourselves financially. Some of us are attacking ourselves in relationships, in our career. Some of us are attacking ourselves in terms of our perception of God. And some of us are attacking ourselves in our perception of ourselves. And some of us are attacking ourselves in our perception of the world because we believe the world is attacking us. So I like to take what it's saying. So if I say to myself, I'm feeling afraid because I'm feeling attacked, that's a kind of a different slant on it. And the area that I feel the most afraid is the area where I feel like I'm being most attacked in my life. So fear and attack are inevitably associated. So if only attack produces fear, and if you see attack as the call for help that attack is, the unreality of fear, if only attack produces fear, and if you see attack as the call for help that it is, the unreality of fear must dawn on you. For fear is a call for love. So when you read the Course in Miracles, if you got that sentence and you're looking at the book and you see where it says, for fear is a call for love, comma. When you see a comma in the middle of a sentence in the Course in Miracles, all it basically means is the next part of that sentence is going to define what the first part of that sentence said. So that means that fear is a call for love means fear is a call for love in unconscious recognition of what's been denied. In other words, when I'm feeling fear, I'm having an unconscious recognition that love is being denied in this moment. Whenever I fear, it means I'm recognizing there's no love in this moment. Fear means I'm not aware of the love in this moment. Fear means I'm not aware of the love in this moment. So fear is actually an unconscious recognition of the love that's being denied. Fear is an unconscious, I'm afraid of you right now. I'm unconsciously recognizing that the love between us is not happening right now. I feel afraid of you. I feel jealous right now. That's an unconscious recognition of the love between us being denied. It doesn't mean the love isn't there. It means I'm not aware of it. And whenever you are not aware of love, according to this stuff, the only reason why I'm unaware of love is I'm not giving it. Wow. So the only time I'm not aware of love is when I'm not giving it, because if I was giving it, I'd feel it. So if I'm not feeling it, I ain't giving it. If I'm not feeling it, I ain't giving it. If I'm not feeling it, I'm not giving it. If I'm not feeling it, I'm not giving it. If I'm, oh yes I am, I know I'm giving it. What the hell are you talking about, dude? I'm loving all the time and people don't appreciate me. You might want to get honest with yourself. If you're really giving it, you see yourself as receiving it. If you were really giving it. If you think you're giving it, then you're going to think you're giving it and you're not receiving it. If you are giving it, you are totally aware of it. So when I read the Course, what I love about it the most is that it keeps me from lying and deceiving myself. Because I'm good at it. I can tell myself anything I need to tell myself to make myself feel good. But when I read this book, all of a sudden I realize, maybe I'm not where I think I am, and maybe I'm not expressing myself the way I think I am, and that's why I haven't had the kind of experience that I really want to have. So finally I know what the problem is. Me. I can deal with it being me. Changing me, that's doable. Changing you, that's a real pain in the butt. Okay, now, through with the paragraph. Love questions or comments. Either one of them. Yes?
It seems like I've been told a lot of times that if somebody is calling for help, I automatically go to, I want to help them.
Right.
And they don't really want my help. They
Isn't
just
that-
want me to listen.
Thank you.
But I can't seem to stop it.
That's all right, you will. No worries. It's actually great that you see it as a call for help. So that's all right. Most people don't even do that.
Well, you
So-
just told me.
Right, but evidently, but you were saying that you had been doing it in the past and then you wanted to try to help them, right? Okay, so that means, to me, that means you've already been recognizing calls for help. But what's really cool about it is to recognize that before you help anybody or even attempt to help anybody, it would be good to get in the habit of asking guidance whether or not that's something you should do. One of the things we have to let go of is stop making decisions without asking for guidance from our greater self. That's one of the biggest errors that we make, is that we don't check in with the source.
Yeah.
And then we decide what's best for somebody, and then we're going to try to give it to them. Problem, no. You don't know what's best for me. 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 Your help may kill me. There's a lot of dead people who are dead because people helped them.
In the wrong way.
Because you don't know what's best for me. Only that which created me knows what's best for me. Me and that which created me, we know what's best for Earl. You don't know what's best for Earl. So what happens when you start to recognize the truth is, rather than doing more, you end up doing less, and then you make yourself feel guilty because you think you are not generous enough because you're not interfering with people as consistently as you used to.
That's true.
That's all you're doing. That's the only thing that's happening with most people. Like when they really get the truth, they just stop interfering with everybody. So actually practicing the truth is easier than practicing what the world teaches. Even though the ego would tell us, our old programming, that's what I mean by ego, even though our ego would tell us this is harder than what the world is telling you to do. But I defy any of you to convince me that changing yourself is harder than changing me. I defy any of you to say seeing yourself as a victim of everything around you is somehow easier than you taking some responsibility for what's happening in your life and claiming that power and using it. The truth is easier than the illusion. Love is easier than fear. If I love you, I let you be. If I fear you, I try to control you. What most people call love is nothing but fear in a beautiful form they think they like. We call it special forms of fear. The Course in Miracles calls our love as a special form of fear. I love you. When the average person tell you that, they just go, I got a special form of fear for you. I'm getting ready to single you out for limitation above all others. I love you. That's nothing but a special form of fear. That is not love. That's just special fear. That's why you're stalking. Right. I wouldn't be behind the bush watching what's going on if I was feeling confident. I wouldn't be going through their cell phone and checking their text messages if there was some trust coming down. And therein lies 22 people in the class. This is hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
This is not for the faint of heart. This is definitely not for the person who wants to manifest a car. This is for a person who wants to let go of every block that keeps them from knowing their power, their innocence, their infinite abundance, their love, their truth, and who they really are. That's what this is for. It's not for a better job. The better job is going to be just an effect of your correcting your attention, correcting your mind, and loving yourself more. You love yourself more, you're going to attract more love to you through everything you do.
And you'll get the car.
Yeah, don't fall in love with the echo, fall in love with the voice. Most people want the echo. We're going for the voice. The echo is the cool job that comes from you listening to the voice of yourself. Right? Okay.
Okay, Earl, this is really a question,
Yeah.
because I'm sincere. Being that what I am and what I do and what it is, if I ask for help, and I really need help at that time, in a specific way, if they want to take over and they're gonna love you, like you said, and they're gonna control you and all of that.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say they were going to control you.
No, but if they do, how do we get it across to them, just to be objective and that, just to help us in the fashion that we ask and not in what they would like?
Well, if I was asking for somebody for help and how I could make sure that as much as possible they were helping me in the way that I was asking, if that indeed was what they wanted to do, was to make sure that they would mirror back to me exactly what I said to them so that we could make sure that we were hearing each other. That's why the way to have incredible communication with anybody is always to practice mirroring back to them exactly what they said back to you. Doug, right now I believe I'm having a real feeling of separation because you didn't call me and invite me to your birthday party. What you would say to me was, Earl, what I heard you say was you were feeling separate from me because I didn't invite you to my birthday party. Is that right? Yeah. Earl, is there anything else you want to say? Yeah. This was the second time that this happened. And Doug would go, yes, that's exactly what. I heard you say that this is the second time that happened. And then he would say, is there anything else you want to say? And then I would say, no, that's pretty much covered what I want to say right now. Then Doug would say back to me, well, let me summarize what you just said to me. That, right now, you say you're feeling separate right now because I didn't invite you to my birthday party for 2 times. Well, what can I do to support you? But right now, it is love for you to keep that in mind the next time that you're having a party to invite me to the party. Well, that doesn't take a whole lot of interpretation. He'll just invite me to the party. That's what he chooses to do. But the most important thing is not solving the problem. The most important thing is to validate each other and hear each other. Because once a person feels validated and once a person feels heard, they lose their defensive posture, and then the obvious answer that was there for both of you, you see it, because what was keeping you from seeing it was your upset about not being heard and not being validated. So the most important thing you can do to help somebody is to listen to them, because 99% of what they want is to be heard. And whatever they think they're upset about is nothing but a reflection of the fact that they want to be validated, they want to be heard. They want to know that somebody's really listening to what they want to say. So now, if I were to take it another level with your question, is that I would not ask a person for help and then be determined that they've got to help me in my way. I would want a person to help me in the way that feels natural for them to help me, and I would also make it really clear if it wasn't something that they wanted to do, and if it was something that they felt like it was a sacrifice for them to do, I would not want them to do it, because then they're giving me fear and resentment instead of love.
Exactly.
And so first of all, I would ask the Holy Spirit what I should do, and ask the Holy Spirit where I should go, and ask the Holy Spirit in me who I should talk to, and ask the Holy Spirit in me what I should say, because my spiritual lesson is to learn how to turn within to my own higher guidance. And that situation is only showing up so that I'll eventually turn within. See, we don't realize that all the stuff that's making us upset only has one real purpose, according to the Course, is to make us start looking within ourselves for the answer. So the minute a person on their own volunteers to change their own mind, 90% of the stuff that's upsetting them gets corrected and fades out of their perception, because the thing that was upsetting them is only there to get them to turn in and stop, instead of always believing it's something outside of themselves that's the problem. Okay, you follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
I mean,
That's cool.
Once you get the lesson, there's no need to continue to have the circumstance that's creating the lesson. So if everything in my life is to get me to love more, recognize cause for help, take responsibility for my experience, and I go ahead and say, I'm going to learn how to love people and get rid of the blocks to that, and I'm going to take responsibility for my experience, then there's no need for the universe to continue to present challenging situations to me that forces me to go within and look at myself. So a person who voluntarily looks at themselves and takes responsibility, they're going to always have an easier life than the person who believes that they're really nice and they're a victim of everything around them. Because that person is going to keep creating one drama after another and one situation after another that they can't handle, so that they can be forced to look within themselves and change their own minds so they can really be happy. It's not complicated, it's just different. So there's nothing you can ask me that I couldn't answer you from the perspective of A Course in Miracles, but it doesn't necessarily mean you accept it or believe it. Is everybody clear about that? I can answer anything you ask me from the perspective of the Course, but that certainly doesn't mean that you're going to agree with it. And that's the other thing. What I was just saying about the communication, the mirroring back and forth, if you notice that the intention of it is not to solve the problem. The intention of it is to get rid of the blocks to us communicating with each other so the problem can be solved. Because separation is the only problem that's keeping it from being solved. We're feeling separate. When we get rid of our separateness, because I'm listening to you. Now notice also in Doug mirroring back to me what I said, he was not interpreting what I said. He didn't go, well, Earl, what you really mean is blah, blah. He didn't say that at all. He said back to me exactly what I said. He didn't give me his opinion of what I said. And that's the other big challenge in communication with people. They feel like they just got to friggin' tell you what you mean by what you said. Well, Earl, I know how you really feel. I know you know how you really feel about what Doug said, and what that really means about what Doug said. You know what you just said to Doug? I know what you really meant by that. What you really meant was blah, 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 blah. That's interpreting. That's not listening. That's not listening. And if you continue to interpret the people around you when they talk to you, they're going to stop telling you what they really feel. And then they're going to do things that are going to surprise you because they're hiding what they think from you because they don't like the way you communicate with them. And all of a sudden you'll be the one that has the person that just walks out on you and you go, why did that person walk out on me? That was completely unexpected. You weren't watching or listening. They gave you 1,000 hints before they left you. You were too self-absorbed to hear what they were saying to you. You were too deep in your own fantasy of what you think should be going on. And you missed all the hints they were giving you.
Damn it.
Nobody leaves you suddenly. It's always hilarious when someone tells me that. I wasn't expecting them to break up with me, and one day they just no, they gave you a ton of hints. You just weren't present.
That's for darn sure.
You were just in your own mind. Your own fantasy. But you cute. And you juicy.
Yikes.
Thank you.
And you'll get endless opportunities to do it right. Isn't that great? Thank you, darling. You know, when it kind of hit me that there were like, you know, maybe 3 or 4 billion people that were available for me to have a relationship with, it kind of helped me release people. You got billions of choices.
Billions.
Yeah.
Like who's that? You said that the guy that used to be the astronomer. What was his name?
Carl Sagan.
Carl Sagan. He used to hang there. Billions and billions. You know, we got a lot. We got a lot of options. We're blessed. Anybody else before I go to the next paragraph? Is there anybody can mirror back to me a few things that I've said?
That he gave me some hints before he left.
Okay. Anybody else got a mirror can mirror back to me something they heard? It sounded like that was kind of
Do you
personal.
take
It
that
was.
personally?
Yeah. And one day you know what happened one day?
What?
You will be so glad.
Mm-hmm.
One day you will go, thank God
You know-
he left.
You know what? That's so true. My whole topic has been gratitude lately.
Mm-hmm.
Because see, if he hadn't left,
Mm-hmm.
I never would have gotten into that book,
Mm-hmm.
and I never would have known you.
Well,
So there.
so there. Yeah, but you feel your grief, you feel your discomfort, you feel your feelings. It's okay to go, I feel pain because it looked like that person walked out on me, okay? Then the next thing you do, and listen to me now, the next thing you do is you feel it completely, and then you remind yourself that you created it. Then the next thing you do is you express gratitude to yourself for having the creative ability to even create that scenario, that was an example of your creative power, that you even created it. And then you remind yourself that you're the innocent, holy child of God, that you're an infinite being, that you are spirit, that you are powerful. That's what you do. That's the process that will take back the power from everything you've given it away to. It's a very simple process, but that's why it's usually not done. You have to understand, we have been programmed not to do simple things. We've been programmed to always look for complex answers. So when you share with somebody something that they can simply do right now, that's usually the last thing they do. I know people who will jog 15 miles as part of their physical regimen to be strong, but wouldn't take 5 minutes to say what I just said in order to have their whole perception of reality corrected. It's amazing what I watch people do and then turn around and say what we are being asked to do here. Either they don't have time to do it or that it's too hard for them to do. But they'll turn right around and work a job 60 hours a week. But if you said take 5 minutes a day to focus on something like this and it'll change your whole life, they'll say, I swear to God, they'll tell you they don't have time. I've heard it so many times. I'm just too busy. Yeah, it's because going inward is the thing that we are most avoid, because the Course says we don't want to do it because we've been taught what's inward is not cool. That I'm not a good person, that I'm not enough, that I'm sinful, that I'm guilty. Scary. And that it's scary what's going on inside of me. So I'm not going to look inside of me because that's where the non-love is. So in our society, it's all outer, 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 outer. So if you're an outer-oriented person, how do you find out what's going on the inner? Very simply, you say, what's happening on the outer is what's happening on the inner. And now you know what's happening on your inner. Now you've gone within. You went within when you came here. What's happening on your inner is what's happening here on your outer. So that means there's a part of you that wanted to hear what I'm saying right now. That's why you're hearing it, because it was generated from your inner. It was your inner that got up this morning. It was your inner that told you to put on the clothes. It was your inner that told you to get in the car. It was your inner that brought you here. So this really is a reflection of your inner. A decision you made. Isn't that awesome? Mm-hmm. That because you're listening to a guy that's telling you that you're powerful and you deserve to be happy and you deserve to be loved. You would not be hearing that if it wasn't a part of you that wanted to hear that and wanted to believe that about yourself. That's why you're here. Mm-hmm. And then the part of you that doesn't believe that it's true is the part that is having what we call resistance. Mm-hmm. It's the part of you that doesn't want to believe that about yourself. Mm-hmm. And that part that doesn't want to believe that about yourself is the part that creates the drama. Because that drama is coming from the part of you that believes you don't deserve love. And if you accept that you don't deserve love, then you create a relationship of some type that gives you grief. Mm-hmm. That's too simple an explanation, but it's absolutely true. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I tell you, the truth is simple, but it's different. And that's the problem with it. It's so different. You had your hand up, darling. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. I don't, it was relevant a while back. It's okay.
Are you okay now?
Yeah.
All right, okay, all right, okay. If you come back, I'm here for you. Anybody else before I go on? Yes.
I wish my girlfriend was trying to help me all the time.
She will one day. I guarantee you. All of us are destined to come to the realization of the truth at some point in our spiritual evolution. All of us. Isn't that great? Mm-hmm. Isn't that great that whatever created us has set it up where all of us make it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That nobody's. I grew up in a religion that told me everybody didn't make it. Yeah. I grew up in a religion that taught me that only the people in my church made it. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And only the people who looked at it the way my minister looked at it made it. That's right. So I notice even among fundamental Christian churches, they believe, some of them believe individually that it's their church and their group over the other fundamentalist religious groups that's going on. It just gets so special. And the same thing, I see the same thing in so-called New Thought groups. My New Thought is truer than your New Thought, and my New Thought is better than your New Thought. And, it's the same thing, just a desire for specialness, which we've learned today is a
call for love.
There you go.
Call for love.
Just a call for love.
I
Yes.
went to see Joel Osteen because I've quoted you a couple times today in other classes, and this is going to lead to that. But anyway, he always tells a joke. But I mean, I didn't know this, and I kind of went, well, I hope it isn't too biblical for me, you know. So I'm sitting there. One of his jokes was, this guy calls the church and says to the lady, I want to speak to the head hog in the trough. And the lady said, oh, are you speaking to the minister? She said, well, you're going to have to address him with the correct name or I can't put you through. I said, okay, that's cool. I was going to donate $5,000 to your church. And she said, just a minute, Porky just walked in.
It's all about the motivation, isn't it?
But what he said a couple things that kind of got me on track. I just kept saying, ego's the enemy, and tried to put it in coarse terms and did. Because he said, the creator of the universe. And I went, oh, bingo, we are on the same page. But so today what I was saying in another class, Earl Purdy says, we're not all going to leave Denver on I-25. And I always remember that. So what they were doing was, I thought we were going to meet critical mass at the Pepsi Center. Mm-hmm. I really did. I thought, this is it, man. I'm going to go up in the rapture right now. I mean, I didn't, but I thought I was going to. Because it was so, tears and this and...
Well, what do we remember? What do we really want out of any experience? What we really want is how it makes us feel.
Yeah.
See, our ego gets us into, I'm gonna come to this class and I'm gonna intellectualize and intellectually understand God and love. So I'm listening to Earl in terms of the concepts that he's sharing and whether or not I agree with the concepts. Which is not where you get it. You get it in your heart. You get it in your feeling nature.
Right.
That's what really makes it. Who is the person you want to go out again? Basically, is somebody that makes you feel something. Mm-hmm. What's the class you remember? The class that makes you feel something. But truth students can have a tendency to try to make God intellectual. That's one thing I loved about growing up in the black church. It was anything but God being intellectual. Yeah. It was all about the feeling and the emotion and the jumping up and down and screaming and shouting, because it was a great catharsis and release. I'm not saying that I don't enjoy concepts, because I wouldn't be teaching this if I didn't also do that. But I think it's very important for me to see spirituality as something that is appealing to the heart. And not always just something that we're debating whose concept or whatever is the right concept. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. It's how I feel with you all that matters. It's the connection that I feel with you all that matters, not whether or not we agree on ideas and concepts at all. That's why I do this, is because I like to connect with you. I want to join with you. I want to love you. I want to experience what that's like. I know you got an ego just like I do, that's telling you a bunch of crap about yourself that keeps you from feeling good all the time. We all have that. So when we come together, we should be reminding each other that that's not who we really are. And that's what he's saying here. When you leave here today, Earl, no matter what happens for the rest of the day, I want you to recognize that what people are doing is love or a call for love. And if you say that more and more consistently, no matter who you see, then you're going to become more aware that what you do, Earl, is a call for love, so you'll be easier on yourself. And don't bring up your fear unless you're willing to recognize your fear. And recognizing your fear means you recognize your fear is just a call for love. And if you don't protect your old interpretations of fear, you can use this new interpretation of fear. And then you will recognize your call for love, and your call for love will be answered because you recognize it in everybody else. So that allows yours to be answered. My own sense of self-preservation makes me want to do this. If this will help me also have a more peaceful, loving, supported life, to see what you do as a call for love, then I'm willing to start seeing what you do as a call for love. The only reason why I wouldn't want to do it is because I wouldn't want to be helped. Not that God isn't helping me, but the Course is saying you won't recognize the help. Just like sometimes people can be right in your life, loving you, and you don't even see it. Well, that's what he's saying here. If you don't start seeing it as love or a call for love, then when the answer shows up, you won't even recognize the answer. So you'll say, God hasn't answered my prayer. God has answered your prayer. You are not recognizing the answer because you have made up, Earl, your own answer. And you're looking for your own answer to be validated and not necessarily what the truth is. Hello? You hear me on that one? Yes. Everything you are praying about has been answered. Mm-hmm. You don't see the answer because you've made up an answer. Mm-hmm. And what the answer is showing you is not in alignment with what you think the problem and the answer is, so you don't see the solution that's right under your nose. Wow. So then you go, I'd rather be happy than be right. I'd rather be happy than be right. I'd rather be happy than to be right. I'm willing to be wrong in my perspective of this if that would allow the true answer to show up. Very simple, but very different. Yeah, brother.
Yeah. One of the things that I was thinking this week is you know, I'm not always clear. That's for one thing, definitely with my direction. And I got really clear, you know, from time to time during the week. It's like I have the two decisions. I have one decision that I can rely on the world for all my happiness, or I can rely on myself for all my happiness, and to make the decision between the two.
Hello.
And it was interesting because I had a situation where I was going to get angry, and I was going to determine my happiness upon what someone else did.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, you know, in the moment that, you know, that I had a choice to give myself my own happiness or wait until someone else gave it to me.
Beautiful realization. That's my realization. Thank you for reflecting back to me my own realization.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes when I feel lonely and I'm tempted to try to call somebody because I feel lonely, I stop myself because I realize what I'm doing is trying to get. And so what I do is take myself out to dinner and I take myself to a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say it again. When you're trying to contact somebody because you want to feel better, you're actually trying to contact somebody because you want to get something from them.
Mm-hmm.
You're not really contacting them because you want to share love with them. You're trying to fill a hole in yourself that you think is there, that needs to be filled up by something or someone, which is getting and not loving. So it would be better to give to yourself what you're trying to get from the other person. Then you realize you don't need the other person to fill it. And because you feel whole and complete, then other people are around you and you're not lonely anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You become enormously popular when you don't need it
Mm-hmm.
to feel okay about yourself. You don't get many phone calls when you're looking for one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's amazing how if you're in a relationship, how you'll attract so many people that want to be in a relationship with you. Or when you have a job, how you'll get job offers. And how when you have money, people will be offering you money. But when you're in that needy place where you think you don't have it, it looks like nobody's trying to give it to you. Because the outer reflects the inner. And so therefore, if you think you're lacking, your experience reflects that back to you. And if you feel whole and complete, your experience reflects that back to you. That's the secret of your social life being what you want it to be. Or anything else that you want. Very simple answers. Why won't we do it? Why won't we do it?
It's too scary.
You know, no. The reason why that's true, which is our call for love, and the reason why we don't do it is because there's a part of us that's been programmed to believe we don't deserve it and that we are not worthy of it. You have to understand that's all coming from a sense of feeling separate from love, separate from God, separate from self. And if a person is in that place where they're punishing themselves and not giving it to themselves, then no matter what you do, they're not going to change because right now they're busy handling the situation the way they think it needs to be handled, which is self-punishment. And when a person is doing a self-punishment thing, there's no advice you can give them. There's nothing you can give them that's going to make any difference because actually they've already decided how they're going to handle the situation. How they're going to handle the situation is to punish themselves and to deny themselves and to feel bad. A lot of people feel like feeling bad is a solution. So if something doesn't go right, they think feeling bad is what you do, that's the appropriate response. You just feel bad and then it's going to change. That would work if you really feel bad. If you would really go, I feel bad, I'm going to feel all my feel badness, I'm going to let it go all the way through me, I'm going to acknowledge what I feel, and I feel what I feel, and then I'm going to come back and tell myself that's my call for love, and I'm going to tell myself I created it, it's not real, it's not something that has to last, I'm not a victim. I'm also going to express gratitude for myself, to myself, for having the power to even create these feelings and to even create this situation, and I am as God created me. That's the process that will take you past it. But most people just stop at, I feel bad. And then they not only say stop at, I feel bad, then their next solution is somebody else got to make me feel good. And so then they look for the person that's going to make them feel good. And here's the other error they make. They usually choose somebody who don't want to make them feel good. And so then it becomes, I'm going to get that person to change to treat me like I think I need to be treated, which is another way to feel bad. Because when you've decided to punish yourself, you ain't going to make no right choices. That's how you punish yourself. You choose the wrong mate, the wrong job, the wrong attitude, the wrong pair of shoes.
The wrong what?
pair of shoes. Yeah, if you determine not to enjoy yourself because you don't think you are really worthy, you will never be attracted to the person who cares about you. You'll always be attracted to the person who doesn't. If you don't love yourself, you're not going to do anything that's going to work out for your advantage. So the first step is, so if you fall in love with a person that's tremendously insecure, I will give you a hint. You'll never do enough, and you'll never do anything right long enough. You cannot fill up another person's hole.
Well, don't get dirty on it.
We all know what I'm talking
Only
about.
the
That's
A
true.
little humor is always good. So what I'm saying to you is this. If you came here today, it's a sign that you're willing and ready now to experience the love that you deserve in your life.
Yes.
Because you wanted to hear
Yes.
someone tell you that you do deserve the love, and that you are a powerful being,
Yes.
and that you are infinite, and that you are ready to receive an answer to your call for help because you came to a place that was telling you that it is a call for help and you're willing to see it that way. So whether you realize it or not, you put in a big request for a blessing that's going to come to you. Would you acknowledge yourself, Holy Spirit, for listening to this much? Come on, give it to you. It's not, give it to you. You want the universe to be enthusiastic about you? Then you get to be enthusiastic about you. Why do you think I do this? I ain't just enthusiastic, I promise. I'm just trying to practice what I preach. So I'm gonna do the love offering right now, which I like to call the appreciation offering. It's a financial appreciation offering. So I really appreciate that. Thank you for supporting me in my full-time ministry with the Course in Miracles. Thank you, Holy Spirit. You are so welcome. Thank you so much. And I'm available for personal one-on-one sessions called clarity sessions, where we can actually focus in on what it is you're using right now to block yourself in any way. If you're interested in it, you can take one of these, read it, or go to my website, and then it also explains it there. And I am putting all of my classes online. I'm catching up now. I put 8 classes online in the last couple of days. I'm trying to get them up to where we are right now. And so why am I doing that? Because it's through repetition that we learn the crazy stuff, and it's going to be repetition that we learn the sane stuff. We had to be told over and over again insane things about ourselves before we believed it, but we think we can hear the truth one time and all of a sudden we're going to walk out and my whole life is going to change. It doesn't take as long to demolish a building as it takes to build one. So undoing your incorrect thinking and feeling doesn't take as long as acquiring your incorrect thinking and feeling. So the healing process is not as long as the process of attacking self and making self unhappy. And that's good news.
Good news.
It won't take as long to correct things
Yeah.
as it took to mess them up. It won't.
All right.
But it does take doing simple things like the rest of the day going at that joker who cut me off in traffic, that he's just a great big call for love. You know, to say it to anything that upsets you, anything that causes you discomfort, say that's a call for God. That's a call for help. That's a call for healing. And then go ahead and describe the form of it if you want to, if you need to. You know, it's a call for love, and it took the form of that person acting like a complete idiot in my perception. But that's the form their call for love took. If you just need to, you know, if your ego just needs to just define them, then go ahead and do it that way. Okay? Yes.
Real quick. You know how you're always saying, I can't know what's right for anybody?
Right.
And my whole life, I've thought I knew what was right for everybody.
Right.
But I had a beautiful, real quick experience. An aunt, 87, gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning to drive her alcoholic daughter to work. And I said, damn, I wish Jody would get her own license and straighten up. And so you didn't have to get up. She said, I love getting up. She said, it makes me feel wanted and needed.
Thank you.
And
Now
I
look.
went, shut the hell up.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You didn't
So
know
it
that
was
she was in
teaching
love.
me.
That's right.
She loved it.
She loved it. I love the Course in Miracles lesson that goes like it's right at the very beginning. I do not know what anything is for. It's like before the first 5 lessons. And then the very first lesson just really blows people's mind. The very first lesson in the Course in Miracles is nothing I see means anything. And then the next lesson is I give everything I see all the meaning it has for me. First, it doesn't have any meaning. And that's true. I don't have any meaning to you at first. And then you give me meaning.
That's for sure.
And that's true with everything. Your child might mean a lot to you, but your child might not mean nothing to nobody else. Your child doesn't inherently have meaning, except at a God level. But at a human level, your kid doesn't have any meaning except to the people who give your kid meaning. So nothing you see really does mean anything in and of itself. Then you give it the meaning.
Yeah.
So it's the meaning you're giving yourself that's determining what you are attracting to yourself. So all you have to do is give yourself a new meaning, and you have a new life. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so I'm gonna finish this up. We're gonna take 2 minutes to hear this, and I'm gonna get this energy in. Okay, can you do it with me, Holy Spirit?
Doing it.
Okay, here we go.
We're gonna rock out. Oh, I love this song.
Everything we are experiencing is a call for love. A call for love. As you apply that it's a call for love to every situation and every circumstance, you'll realize when you go crazy, it's a call for love. And so you'll realize that this judgment is the judgment on you, so you can stop feeling guilty about the time when you've lost your mind and when you've gone crazy, because you realize it was just my call for love. So if you recognize fear, what does it mean to recognize fear? What does it mean to recognize fear? What does it mean to recognize fear? I'm not recognizing fear until I see it as a call for love. Put your join hands. and so what we're gonna do, we're gonna see if we can give each other a little handgasm. Squeeze it.
Oh yeah.
Settle down, Judy.
And you want to tell that person you are just a call for love.
Just a call for love.
You're just a call for love. You're just a call for love. You're just a call for love. You're just a call for love. You're just a call for love. I'm just a call for love. Say what?
Join
You're just a call for love.
You deserve nothing but love, luscious, juicy, wonderful love.
Yes!
So put it up one time.
Get it up.
One hand. Love train. Love train. I'm ready for love. Are you ready for love? Yeah. I'm ready for love. I'm ready for love. I'm ready for love. Who's that with me? I'm ready for love. I'm ready for love. I'm ready for love. I'm ready for love. I welcome love. I welcome love. I welcome my love.
Hey,
I welcome my juicy love.
Yes.
I welcome my love.
Yes!
Love.
hey, here's a symbol. Here's a symbol of my love for you. Here's some honey.
Oh, Jesus!
Rolled out some sweet honey.
That's the first time I've had honey out of tits. It's a brand new thing. That must have come from God. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for coming, Holy Spirit. Thursday night, 7 o'clock. My next class.
Oh, titty love.
Did you say kitty?
Jesus!
I thought